Before I compare the two platforms, let me explain what is generative AI. Generative AI is like a magical genie that you can program to create anything you want, as long as you don't mind a few unexpected twists and turns along the way. Just like rubbing a lamp and making a wish, but here, the genie is a computer. And instead of granting your wish instantly, it might take a few thousand iterations and some trial and error. But hey, at least you don't have to worry about accidentally wishing for a sandwich and getting a sandwich-shaped monster instead. Or do you? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Software Showdown test, where our competitors will battle it out to see whose program reigns supreme. In the left corner, we have the reigning champion, ChatGPT. Its sleek interface and first to market have made it a favorite among programmers and users everywhere. But will it be enough to fend off the challenger? And in the other corner, we have the plucky up-and-comer Google Bard. With its cutting-edge algorithms and intuitive design, it's been making waves in the AI world and is ready to take on the big dogs. But let's not forget about our wildcard entry, Generative AI Error 404, also known as Irrelevant Answer. Both are large language models, but they are also a bit of a goofball. They sometimes get things wrong, but they're always good for a laugh. So, grab some popcorn, folks, and settle in for the ultimate tech battle. Who will emerge victorious? Only time and a lot of debugging will tell. I will test both Bard and ChatGPT in 7 categories. And the categories are 1. Solving math problems. I will give both platforms 2 math problems to see if they solve it correctly and how much time they took to solve them. 2. Debate. I will ask both Bard and ChatGPT to debate on a topic. 3. Creative story writing. Here I will test the creative juices of these 2 platforms. 4. Factual retrieval. I will ask ChatGPT and Bard to tell me about a known fact to check their accuracy and response. 5. Summary. In round 5, I will check on their capability to summarize an article that I will pull from the web. 6. Coding. Both platforms have the ability to write code, debug code, and help explain code for many languages like JavaScript, Python, and TypeScript. I will ask them to write some code, and then I will let you know if the code was correct. 7. Current events. I will test their ability and limitations as it relates to current events. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's start the match. Round 1 is solving math problems. In this round, I'll ask ChatGPT and Bard 2 math word problems and see if they solve them correctly. I will also see how fast they come up with a response. First, I'll prompt them with a question. A 555-mile, 5-hour trip was flown at 2 speeds. For the first part of the trip, the average speed was 105 miles per hour. Then a tailwind picked up, and the remainder of the trip was flown at an average speed of 115 miles per hour. For how long did the plane fly at each speed? Here you see ChatGPT goes more into detail with its explanation. On the other hand, Bard skips the explanation. They both get the same answers. Bard is much faster than ChatGPT, But this is because it is only used in a few countries, whereas ChatGPT is already used worldwide. You can see that ChatGPT explains that they are using the formula distance equals speed times time, while Bard doesn't and jumps right into the equation. You can see that the steps taken are practically the same. Now we are going to start asking them another problem. After that problem, I will judge their work. Now we will ask them another problem. This time it will be the question: an open box with a square base is to be constructed from 108 square inches of material. What should the dimensions of the base be if the height of the box is to be 3 inches? Again, Bard is faster. You see that the solutions are slightly different, with ChatGPT explaining its method. You can see that it gives a detailed explanation of each step. It is also much better formatted than Bard's, as Bard is hard to understand. Now the winner is no one. It is a tie. Round 2, debate. I'll ask both to debate between a fan of soccer and a fan of basketball. This will be a whole different ball game for them. I will now enter the prompt, and to save time, I'll just copy it onto ChatGPT to Bard. Now Bard is done already. We are going to wait for ChatGPT to be done. Now, ChatGPT gave more depth, with each character giving reasons as to why their sport is better. On the other hand, Bard made the soccer fan blatantly say that basketball is bad without reasoning. And ChatGPT talked about more important aspects like teamwork and the feel of scoring a goal or shooting a basket. The ending is also better in ChatGPT's debate than Bard's debate. Who do you think did better? Let me know in the comments you post below. Now, even though this is subjective, I'm still gonna judge it to see who did the better job. Before we move on to round 3. You see that the ending is not as good in Bard, as it just makes the story keep on going and doesn't give a good ending. So the winner is Chat GPT. Its script is much better than Bard's, as it goes more in depth about each character's arguments. With ChatGPT, it feels more like a real debate. Round 3, creative writing. We're gonna ask the two AIs to write a 3-paragraph creative story about Winston Churchill playing tennis with Barack Obama. This could be hilarious. I'll first enter the prompt here, and then to save time, I'll copy and paste the prompt over to Bard. ChatGPT gives descriptions about how each man plays tennis, but does not focus on how two important leaders are meeting. Any random person could be inserted into the story and nothing would change. You can see Bard has a slight factual error stating that Barack Obama is the current president of the United States in 2023. However, it gives more descriptive details and recognizes the personalities of the two and that it is two important leaders that are meeting. You can see it also gives details on how Churchill is dressed, and even though it gives details on how they play, it also doesn't skimp on details about what they talk about and how Churchill is dressed. It also talks about what the two men talk about. It says the topics. But you see, ChatGPT has no factual errors and it says that it's the former US president. It's Barack Obama. It also shows how it doesn't, Bard shows how Obama is inspired by Churchill. Now, I'm gonna judge this. The winner of this round, who wrote a creative story, which is an AI, is Bard. Bard recognized that these are two important leaders meeting and made a much better story. In the next task, we want to test the knowledge of ChatGPT and Bard on the inventors of the internet. We will ask both AIs the question, who invented the internet? Now I'm going to type the question into ChatGPT and Bard, and we will compare the two answers. Both ChatGPT and Bard give a correct answer. They acknowledge that more than one person invented the internet, and they both mention the name Tim Berners-Lee. However, Bard's response included more details and it listed the names of more people involved in the invention of the internet. While ChatGPT's answer was correct, Bard's answer was more comprehensive and thorough. And the winner is Bard. It gives more details and a more thorough answer. It's time for round 5, summarizing an article. We will test ChatGPT and Bard's ability to summarize an article that we will pull from the web. This article is up on climate change and it is by United Nations. Now I'll just put the link in ChatGPT and Bard and see if they can give a summary that includes everything that was in the article, or at least includes the main idea. ChatGPT provided a more concise summary of the article in just a few paragraphs, while Bard's summary was longer and only contained some rewording. I'll just open the article to check if the facts are correct. We are just gonna search if ChatGPT's claim that the article has something about deforestation is true. I'm just gonna find if it has anything about deforestation or something related. Okay, so it doesn't say exactly deforestation, but it says something similar. So I'll just search for something related to deforestation. Let me just search forest. Okay, so it talks about cutting down forests, which is the same thing as deforestation. So ChatGPT was correct on that. Let's just ask it one more thing to make sure it's correct. You can also see the Bard has some weird sources that aren't related to the article I sent it to. I'll just open and see what these sources are. Okay, so I don't understand why Bard would add these sources because it should just go to unitednations.org, which means it might be including stuff that's not inside the actual article. Now for ChatGPT, I'm just gonna find something that's in the article, like let's say Paris Agreement, and then I'm gonna ask ChatGPT if it says anything about the Paris Agreement. So when we asked ChatGPT more questions about the article, we were able to confirm that all the information it talked about was indeed present in the article. So for example, when we asked ChatGPT if the article talked about the Paris Agreement, and it confirmed that it did. Now we are going to decide the winner. The winner of this round is ChatGPT. It provided an accurate and concise summary of the article. It's time for round 6, coding. We will use PyCharm to run some Python code for generating the Fibonacci sequence. I'll just create a new project that we can use to run the code. Okay, now that it's ready, ChatGPT and Bard will create the Python script for this task. Once the code is ready, we will test it by pasting it into PyCharm. Now I'm just gonna say write Python code that can generate the Fibonacci sequence. Okay, PyCharm is fully loaded, so we are ready to ask ChatGPT and Bard. Okay, I'm gonna type it now. When we run the code, we are gonna make sure to use a smaller number of digits to observe the output. Okay, the code is done. We'll start with Bard. Bard also shows us the output of what the code should show. Now we have to start with a small number of digits just to test this out. So not something big, like 1000, something small, like let's say 14. Okay, it did it very fast, and it generated all the digits correctly. It puts the numbers into a vertical column. Now that's done, we are going to try ChatGPT's code. I'll just copy and paste the code from ChatGPT. You can see that ChatGPT formats the digits nicely, separating them with commas. But it is otherwise the exact same as Bard's code. And the winner is no one. It is a tie. It's time for round 7, current events. Last but not least, well, it sort of is the least, as this will be the easiest question I ask ChatGPT and Bard. Let's just ask, what year is it? To see if they both are up to date with current events. You can see they both give the answer 2023. And the winner is no one. It's a tie. All in all, it was a close call. While Bard did better with creative writing and factual retrieval, ChatGPT fared better in the debate and summarizing articles pulled from the web. Both were neck to neck on math, coding, and current events. Both Google and OpenAI are investing heavily in generative AI, and I am sure in the coming months, both These and newer platforms will be more powerful. In some time, I'll do a rematch to show you how ChatGPT and Bard have evolved. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it informative. Let me know what you thought of it in the comment section below. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon so you never miss on a video. Have a wonderful time!